the Phillies bats stayed awake here in South Florida, but the good news is the pitching also woke up. Jared Eickhoff was outstanding, so the Phils even this 4-game series. Tonight it's Game 3 from Marlins Park between the Phils and the Marlins. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. You know, at the start of every baseball season, you lay out a roadmap, and you know during the course of the season that roadmap's going to change a little bit. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be trades. Position players will rotate in and out. But you hope that a starting rotation can stay as consistent as possible. For these two teams, it hasn't been consistent.
It hasn't been very consistent, and that's the reason why they're at the bottom of the order where they're at. You go into spring training, you have 5 guys you think you're going to revolve your rotation around. You might have 1 or 2 guys in the back burners, but look at the changes they've had in their starting rotation. Fernandez came back from Tommy John surgery. Now he's back on the DL. Matt Latos didn't pitch very well. He got shipped to L.A. Dan Herron, all of a sudden, he was their best pitcher. Then they had to send him to Chicago because the Marlins weren't going anywhere in the division.
Well, and Tom Kohler has been the most consistent. He's been out there every 5th day. From a Phillies standpoint, rotation. Changes have been drastic for the Phils all season long.
Well, it has. And David Buchanan was the guy that was coming into spring training. You're going for that number 5 guy. Then all of a sudden, Cliff Lee gets hurt. Aaron Harang's back was bothering him. He slides into the 3-hole. Sean O'Sullivan was sent down in the middle of spring training, brought back as the number 5 guy. So really, they didn't have a lot of depth in starting rotation. Cliff Lee's injury, and all of a sudden you had to trade, Cole away to Texas. You need guys to fill in, but now all of a sudden it's good and bad because the younger guys are getting a chance to come up here and fill in for the older guys.
Yeah, we saw that last night with Jared Eickhoff coming over in that trade. Really filled in nicely for the Phils. All right, now we switch gears offensively. Nobody knew what Odubel Herrera was when we arrived in spring training. Now I think people know, riding an 8-game hitting streak, I think people know that he's probably the Phillies' everyday outfielder, center fielder going forward.
Well, he's been a pleasant surprise this year. You weren't sure of Rule 5, playing every day. Who knew he'd be hitting 3rd in the order? What I like a lot about him is, one, he has great speed, he can bunt, but the ability to recognize pitches, fastball away or fastball in, hitting the ball to left field, doing small ball. Man on second base right there, he had to hit the ball to right field. And look at this 8-game hitting streak, 387. The home runs we're not worried about. We want him on base. He needs to be a table setter. The steals have dropped down a little bit, but the average has gone up, which is fine. The walks, 4 walks. He's not going to walk a lot because he swings the bat a lot. I just like the fact that he can get that leg up early, recognize curveballs, wait, turn on a ball. But the biggest thing that I've been very impressed with is from game to game, at bat to bat, he's made adjustments. He can look terrible in some swings, make the adjustments, stay on the ball a little longer, and drive it to left field.
Well, the Phillies hope that he can continue this for the rest of this season and beyond. Tonight it is Game 3 of this 4-game set. Aaron Harang, boy, he has really struggled the last 4 starts. They hope he can figure some things out, get that ERA down, get the win total up, and he'll be opposed by Justin Nicolino, making his 5th start in the big leagues. When we return, we're not going to visit the Fanatic bobblehead. We're going to visit the Comcast Sportsnet studios. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyattoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. taking the field as we get set for Game 3 of this weekend series. Each team has won one so far. And let's see if the Phillies are able to pick up a second victory over the Marlins this weekend. They're facing another young pitcher. They had a 23-year-old Justin Nicolino, who they've never faced before. He is out on the mound getting ready to warm up. He's one of 3 left-handers that are scheduled to pitch this weekend. Tomorrow there's a left-hander as well for the Marlins. Let's take a look at the Phils lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Hernandez leads it off at second base, then Andres Blanco and Odubel Herrera. Jeff Francoeur bats cleanup. Aaron Altair back in left field hitting 5th. Darren Ruffle bats 6th in the bottom third of Galvis, Ruiz, and Harang. You know, we talked about it last night, all the platoons the Phillies have going on. Well, this is another lineup where you have different guys, the right-handers, back in tonight against this young lefty, 23 years old, from Orlando, Florida. Former second-round pick of the Toronto Blue Jays. So far in 4 starts here in the big leagues, 2-1 with an ERA of 4.24. He won 7 games in the minor leagues this year. Matt, tell us everything you know about Justin Nicolino.
Well, he's a lefty.
That's good.
Justin Nicolino, you're going to see from him, as you can see the scouting report, 4-pitch pitcher, between 89 and 92, not overpowering. He averages 14.5 pitches per inning, and he uses his cutter a lot more than he did earlier in the season.
Well, since he's been acquired from the Toronto Blue Jays, he's 29-13 as a minor league pitcher for the Fish, and 31-14 overall. Those are some pretty good numbers that he's put up since they picked him up in that trade. Cesar Hernandez is heading toward the plate. Boy, this is a big start for Aaron Harang. He's been very frustrated with the way he's pitched since coming back from the plantar fasciitis. And the hope is that he can find the strike zone down in the strike zone. Just too many pitches out over the plate.
Yeah, when you don't have overpowering stuff, you know, that mid-90 fastball, you cannot live belt high. You have to hit the corners.
Well, the Phils, who are 19-12 since the All-Star break, get ready to go to work with the first pitch of the night. And it's hit in the air to right field. And Ichiro ventures back. Plenty of room out there. 1 away. Well, Matt, before the next pitch, let's get to the Nissan keys to the game.
Well, the first key for me is Nicolino loves his cutter. So Phillies, beware of the cutter. He's thrown a lot more cutters in August, and the league's hitting $125 in August versus his cutter. And Harang needs to get a feel of one off-speed pitch. And what I mean by that is he throws a fastball, cutter, change curve. In a slider, he needs to lock in one off-speed pitch where he can rely on to throw.
Here's Andres Blanco, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Do you care which one?
I like to see the cutter because he throws a two-seamer. He throws at time a pretty good sinker. The cutter just goes to both sides of the plate. And the reason why is because if you're throwing four-seam fastballs and it's getting hit or you can't find the strike zone, you can rely on throwing an off-speed pitch to get back even with the count or ahead in the count.
Well, right now Nicolino is ahead of Andres Blanco. No balls and 2 strikes. And Blanco takes upstairs 1-2. Andres looking at the home plate umpire, Pat Hoborg, because that was a very similar pitch to the one that was called strike 2. It was just a little higher. Foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
That's the cutter right there. You're going to see, anywhere from 85 to 87. Doesn't move a lot, but it's a true cutter. Cuts about 6 or 7 inches.
Andres has hit in 4 consecutive games. One of a handful of Phillies who have a hitting streak going right now. 3 for 9 so far in this series with a couple of runs scored. Two-2 pitch. Outside, 3-2. Phillies were looking for somebody to quiet the Marlins offense from 2 nights ago, and it was Jared Eichhoff last night. 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs. He struck out 5, walked only 1 to pick up his first major league victory. Down the right field line for Andres Blanco. It is a fair ball going to the corner. Ichiro will get it, and Blanco's thinking about 3. In fact, he's on his way. Here's the throw to third by D. Gordon. He is out. was genuinely surprised that he was going to try to stretch that into a triple. But give credit to Ichiro and D. Gordon. Once Ichiro got to the ball, the relay was very clean.
Well, that shows you how important it is for an outfielder to, one, get to the ball as quick as you can, pick it up clean off the wall, bare hand, throws a strike, throws a strike. Perfect relay. And we saw it last night. Yeah, right there, I think it cost him a little bit. Right when he was getting around third base, or second base, excuse me, Gordon was just about to get the ball.
Odubel Herrera's the batter, and Herrera fouls it away. Odubel's hit in 8 consecutive games. I have to be honest with you, I didn't see whether Rock was waving him to third. Usually it's the base runner, once he looks, that'll make that decision. But a lot of times when the play's behind him, he'll rely on the third base coach.
Right, yeah, that's where you have to look at your third base coach, and he's your eyes for you.
Well, you figure he must have told him to go then. I'm with you, though, Matt. That's little stammer around second base cost him a few seconds. No balls, 2 strikes to Odubel, hitting .295 with 6 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Lays off, and it's 1-2. Odubel's playing every day against righties and lefties. In fact, hitting .275 against left-handed pitching. And he is struck out. Rookie. That's a pretty nice pitch. Side is retired. No runs. 1 hit and nobody left. Down to the bottom of the first we go. Phillies nothing. Marlins coming up. Those two guys get along pretty well, and it's nice. That's helped with this transition over the last several weeks. Let's take a look at the Marlins lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. D. Gordon, Ichiro Suzuki, and Martin Prado, followed by Justin Bour, Derek Dietrich, and Marcelo Zuna. And the bottom third of Real Muto, Echeverria, and Nicolino. And they'll face Aaron Harang. Gordon's all ready to go. First pitch is off the outside corner. It's 1-0. D. Gordon's 6 multi-hit games in a row. As you take a look at Aaron Harang's numbers, 5-14 with an ERA that's climbing.
You check out the scouting report. 5-pitch pitcher, average velocity 89.4, 16.3 pitches per inning. Lefties are hitting 290, and the righties are hitting 272.
Trying to get that outside corner again. It's called ball 2. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Chopper to shortstop. Waiting for it is Galvis. Don't wait too long. One away. So D. Gordon is retired. That's always a good start. And that'll bring Ichiro Suzuki to the plate.
That ball did not stay in Freddie Galvis's glove very long. He got it one step and threw a strong throw to first base.
Ichiro's had a good series. He's 4 for 9 against the Phillies. 2 for 18 lifetime against Aaron Harang. Outside, 1-0. I have to admit, I was surprised that he had so many at-bats against Harang, because one guy's been in the National League for most of his career, and the other guy's been in the American League for most of his career. Ground ball foul past Perry Hill.
But then again, they have been around for about 28 years combined.
That is true. Ichiro and Marcelo Zuna have current hitting streaks of 19 and 17 against the Phils. Back to the box. And Harang fires for the second out. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. $4,800 has been donated in wins alone for the Phils. Martin Prado, 5 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Has 3 RBIs in the series, a 1 hit. It was a home run. He is 4 for 23 lifetime against Harang. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good location. You know, Prado's a guy that likes to do that inside-out swing, so he likes the ball inside to him. Anything away, he's going to hit off the end of the bat.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Cubs defeated the Braves 9-7. Miguel Montero, I forgot he was even on that team. A home run and a double for the Cubs. Boy, they've been good. That means if the Phillies can win tonight, they would be just 4.5 behind the Braves for 3rd place in the division. You heard Marshall and Marlin talking about the #1 overall pick just before the start of this ball game. I agree with Marlin. Right now the Phillies have the #1 overall pick because they have the worst record in baseball, but I'm not sure if Pete Maccannon's team is going to stay in that spot the way they've played, particularly since the All-Star break. How to play again. It remains 3-2 to Prado.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, in September, end of August, September, they're playing against some teams that are fighting for playoffs. You know, the Mets, quite a few games, the Cubs.
Yeah, they still have the Nationals they have to play. And they'll face the Braves and the Marlins down here again. In fact, you pointed out, and I didn't even realize that there's only 2 road trips left. There's ball 4, and Prado draws a walk. So 2-out walk will bring Justin Bour to the plate. Today's ball game is also available in Spanish, Matt. Just use the SAP button on your television and change the language through the menu on your cable box. Boer is 4 for 8 in this series and 5 for 14 over his last 3. Well, he does like to swing at the first pitch.
Yeah, that's the reason why you got a very nice changeup blown away. Boer's actually taken the approach of as when he was a pinch hitter, very aggressive. So things have not changed.
Yeah, he had good numbers as a pinch hitter. As a starter, he's hitting .247. That's line pass block going to left field. Aaron Altair gets to it. That should hold Prado at third. Actually had a play at second for Boer, but no communication to Freddie Galvin. Second and third with 2 men down, and Derek Dietrich will be the batter.
That's one of those baseballs that you hit that you really mess up scouting reports. Dead pull. Does a nice job of hitting the fastball. Shoots a setup away. Quite a bit of the plate, but the inside out swing and just out of the reach of Whitey at third. But Altair does a nice job of getting that ball in quickly.
Well, now Dietrich 1 for 4 in this series. He came on yesterday late, started one of the games, but came on yesterday late for Cole Gillespie, who left with a wrist injury. Dietrich hitting .277. 9 home runs, 18 runs batted in. He has one of those 9 home runs in the series. Starts him off with a fastball, and it's 0-1. Now, despite Harang's struggles in this ballpark, 3 games last year, he allowed 25 hits in 15 innings, an ERA of 10.20. His numbers have been good against the National League East this year as he gets Dietrich to pop up into foul territory, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left. Marlins are now 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position in this series. And the first 2,000 fans who go to Phillies.com/country will receive the exclusive Phillies camo snapback hats. There it is right there. Plenty of seats still available for all 4 games, but it's country music night. There'll be country music bands that'll be performing at Citizens Bank Park. Again, go to Phillies.com/country for more information. Jeff Francoeur leads things off. First pitch is low. Francoeur hitting .280 with 12 home runs, 38 runs batted in. 2-0. 1 for 3 with a walk in this series. Toward the hole, backhanded by Echeverria. There's 1 out. For breaking Phillies news, you can trust that Jim Salisbury will have the most accurate report. Experience counts. Follows Phillies insider Jim Salisbury, the best source for 24/7 Phillies coverage, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Aaron Altair sends one in the air to right field. Ichiro going back toward the track, makes the catch. Not that that was a great play, but that was textbook how he went back on that. He made it look easy. He made it look the way Doug Glanville used to make it look in center field when he played for the Phillies.
Well, it's so natural for him is that he can turn and run because he's taking the right the right route every time. He might be getting older, but the man can still play baseball.
Here's Darren Ruff. Murph getting a chance to play again against a left-hander tonight, playing first base.
Yeah, Tom making his 38th start of the season, but his 21st at first base. And as we have talked about over the last couple of days, that is probably going to be the norm now as we head through the rest of this season. Pete Mackanin has stopped short of saying that it'll be a platoon situation at first base between Ryan Howard and Darren Ruff. But, you know, he does want to see him against the left-handers, and that's what we're going to see probably going forward. And makes a lot of sense if you take a look at the numbers. 391, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. It's 76 plate appearances for Darren Ruff against the lefties. You see what Ryan Howard has done against the right-handers. Also very good production. You put that together, it's pretty good production out of your first base position. So it does make a lot of sense. I asked Pete Mackanin about Ryan Howard and the conversation he had with him about this situation. He said, look, he's not happy about it. He does not what he wants, but he understands why we're doing it, and he's been a good soldier about it as well. So, and of course, that's what you want out of your players. You want them all to want to play, and Ryan Howard certainly wants to play, but Darren's going to get his chance.
Well, Darren was just tied up on that pitch from Nicolino, and Dietrich will make the catch, and the Phillies go down in order here in the second inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Middle of the second, Marcell Ozuna will lead it off when we come back. In his first major league start, and he was impressive on so many different levels. So he's the first Phillies pitcher to toss a scoreless outing in his major league debut since Cole did it back in 2006 against Cincinnati. He's also the first Phillies starting pitcher to ever have multiple RBIs in his major league debut, and the first Phillies pitcher, Matt, are you writing all this down, to earn the win and record an RBI in his major league debut since Dave Downs in September 1972 against the Atlanta Braves. I thought it was funny last night after the game. He was talking about the conversation with Pete Buchanan. Pete apparently had everybody rolling in the dugout because he did, after his first at bat, go over and remind him that up here in the majors, you know, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Ozuna takes a little low. .249 with 6 homers and 29 runs batted in. Fly ball, shallow right toward the line. Cesar is there. So's Francoeur. In foul territory, 1 out. Well, here's Jared Eichhoff from last night. Demeanor, Matt, that really stood out too, the way he handled himself on the mounds.
Well, and that's what for 3 days he thought, okay, I'm going to get the ball and pound the strike zone. And what I was impressed with last night was the fact that he could hit 94 at times when he needed to. 93, lived right around 92, but he had a very good slider yesterday, and he threw strikes and he worked quick.
Real Muto takes on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, the hope is that Jared Eichhoff's career is a little longer than Dave Downs. Downs pitched well that first year when he got brought up in September, but then had a shoulder injury that cost him the '73 season. And then eventually he pitched only 6 games in '74 and just couldn't get back. Outside. Swing and a miss. He got him. First strikeout for Aaron Harang. Well, that at bat alone is a clear indication of his command of the fastball, because he was basically dotting that same spot the entire at bat to Real Muto.
It's a good place fastball. He shook to it twice. Fastball. It's not a cutter. That's a 4-seam fastball or a 2-seam fastball. His game plan so far is to go away on the hitters.
Here's Echeverria, who was 0 for 3 last night. He had a 13-game hitting streak snapped in last night's game. He hit .380 during that streak. He too has crazy numbers against the Phillies during his career. .2-0 pitch. Down the right field line. Francoeur will give it a look, but it's going to be out of play. Folks are talking about, and rightfully so, Andrelton Simmons winning another Gold Glove at shortstop, and he's very gifted. Although he made an error last night. You know, you talk about Brandon Crawford of San Francisco, who has very equivalent numbers to Andrelton Simmons' defensive numbers. I think Simmons is better, but Crawford has good numbers. I don't know how Echeverria isn't in the conversation. I think that his hands are as good as anybody's at shortstop.
Oh, absolutely. His range is as good as anyone.
I agree. I think he's the next one that will wrestle the Gold Glove away from Simmons. It's Pepper in the right field line. That ball's pretty well hit, but it's into the seats again. Captain Dominican was in the right place at the right time for that foul ball. He's got the Dominican Republic flag around his neck. Tonight is Dominican Republic night here at Marlins Park. 2-2 pitch. That one's pulled foul. Frank Core's moved. I mean, he's adjusted his scouting report. Just as he does it, Echeverria lines one down the left field line.
Yeah, but that was a curveball, a hanging curveball. Your defense has played opposite field. Keep on throwing the fastball away.
Yeah, and put Frank Core in the seats
Just
down
get
the
it
right
lower.
field line.
Just get it lower. Bottom of the zone. Not that bottom.
3-2. The pitcher's on deck. Freddie Galvis to his left a couple steps. He throws him outside, is retired in order. Nice job by Harang. He's retired 4 in a row. On to the third inning. The bottom of the order is due up, led by Freddie Galvis when we return. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Matt, who holds the Marlins record for most games played by a catcher in one season? Answer will be revealed a little later on. Speaking of Marlins catchers, now this is not the right answer. I'm going to give it away, but I watched the documentary on the Hernandez brothers today, Livan and El Duque. It was outstanding. And they showed that game, the playoff game against the Braves, where Livan struck out, was it 15? Atlanta Braves, and Charles Johnson was the catcher. And Johnson, they showed a moment where Johnson went out after the first couple of innings and said, "Hey, listen, the strike zone's pretty wide. Let's just keep throwing it outside." And Hernandez said, "Okay. Outside?" And they had him. They could pick that up, and he just kept firing it in the outside corner. And Eric Gregg was calling it. And the Braves hitters were swinging at it. Really good documentary, though.
I remember that game.
Freddie Galvis leads it off 1-0 to Galvis. Softly to third. Prado throws him out. And here's Carlos. Righty's hitting .322 against Nicolino. Lefty's hitting .214, but he's been able to handle the righties tonight. At least the first time through. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is George Michael in the Sports Machine. He's from Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. The Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and George will win $200. Carlos lines it to right. Ichiro going back. It's over his head. He plays it off the base of the wall. And the fact that it died off the wall enables Ruiz to go to second base with his 11th double of the year. And Carlos, who has very good numbers against left-handers, continues to hit them and has an extra base hit, the second one of the night for the Phillies.
Well, and that's probably his best swing he's taken in a long time. Nice and free, short to the ball. And 2-0 doesn't try to do too much. Hits the ball away and hits it away. And it goes off that Jimmy John what is it? Jimmy John's sign, and it dies.
Oh, and 1 to Harang.
That's a good sign if Chooch can drive a ball that far to right field. Good technique. Staying inside the ball. Like Freddie Galvis, the ground ball hit the third. Barrel went out away from the ball and he surrounded it. And
A little low, and it's 1-2. And Harang strikes out. Second strikeout for Nicolino. And there are 2 outs. Well, the Phillies return home to take on the New York Mets in a 4-game series that begins this Monday night. All 4 games are at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Don't forget, Country Music Night is on Monday. Here's Cesar Hernandez, who's 0 for 1. Matt, what do we have? A party going on down below
yeah,
us?
Billy made an appearance below.
Oh, did he, Billy the Marlin?
Billy the Marlin.
Cesar grounds one to third. And that will end the inning. Prado busy in this inning, makes the first and the third out. Here we are. And there's Billy. That way, right down there. Go to the bottom of the third. Valley Honda Dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By Jefferson, where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Well, we've enjoyed our stay here in Florida. Phillies have split the first 2 games. Now game 3. Tomorrow we'll wrap up the series and then back home to Philadelphia for a week. Justin Nicolino will lead things off. First pitch is outside, 1-0. Where's the band?
I don't know.
Nicolino's 0 for 8. There's a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's what I was thinking about outside our room today, down the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
About 10:30 the party started. Now it's back to the screen, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Aaron Harang is trying to get back to where he was after his first 9 starts of the season. He was 4-3, but the real big number was his earned run average, 1.82 after 9 outings. Since that time, he has not had the same success. He's been hit around pretty good. In fact, in his 3 starts, it's coming off the disabled list. He is 0-2 with an earned run average over 10. Inside, 3-2. There you see the comparisons. First half, he started leaking oil a little bit at the end of the first half, right before the plantar fasciitis. That one's sharply to short. Nice play by Galvis to his left. Has time to pop up. 1 away. And Nicolino will have to wait for his first major league hit.
Ball was hit hard, but Freddie Galvis going to his left. Seen that probably, 8 times this year. It's almost like a routine play now for Freddie. Catching that ball behind him, doesn't panic, throws a strike.
Freddie plays a different kind of shortstop than Rollins in positioning. You know, Jimmy used to, particularly as his career moved on, Jimmy would be shaded toward the middle a little bit more. Whereas Freddie is shaded a lot of times straight away, but a lot of times he's toward the hole at shortstop. Jimmy would get some more balls up the middle. One ball, no strikes to Gordon. And that's outside, 2-0.
You know, which is fine if that's the scouting report. Then the pitcher, the starting pitcher or the reliever, has to hit his spot, or else there's no sense of having a scouting report of where to play people.
And Gordon draws a walk, so he's aboard. Second walk issued by Harang tonight. Phillies fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Get the StubHub app today. Start at StubHub and let the fun find you. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of Phillies.com. Ichiro grounded out his first time up.
Good adjustment right there. Walked Gordon on 5 pitches, fastballs out of the zone. Gets on top of a changeup and pants it away.
There goes Gordon. Pitch is taken outside. Throw by Ruiz. Sails into center field. And Gordon's on his way to third. 41st stolen base of the season for D. Gordon. And on the backside, the 8th error of the year for Carlos.
So he doesn't get a great jump, but he makes up for it with his speed. Shoots is a little quick, comes out, overthrows it, and I thought Cesar could have had that ball.
I thought Freddie could have had that ball. So stolen base and E2. Good play by Carlos. You know, the thing about it too, Matt, as you pointed out, he didn't get a great jump. If the throw had been on the bag, he probably would have gotten him. Phillies will concede the run here to get the out with one man down in the bottom of the third. Four, and Ichiro draws a one-out walk, second walk in a row issued by Harang, third overall, and that'll bring Martin Prado to the plate. Well, back in the first, Harang was able to work out of a second and third two-out jam by getting Dietrich to pop out. Now he would love a ground ball. Fastball right down the chute, 0-1.
Well, there's a few things now that a lot of things are going through the mind. If he steals, do you want to throw through? Because D. Gordon will steal home. And you get also a very good guy at the hitting, Prado, who controls the bat very well for hit and run.
And a liner out towards center field. Here comes Herrera, makes the catch. Tagging late is Gordon. The throw to the plate, cut off by Ruff. And the Phils got a break. 2 outs. Runners on first and third. D. Gordon thought a little too late to go back to third and tag.
Yeah, as a runner at third base, of course, the ball hit on the ground. You take it off right away, but as soon as that ball goes in the air, look, there's that little hesitation for a second. If you were hesitant a little bit, you go back to third base, tag automatically. Because even if that ball bounces in front of the center fielder, you still score very easily.
Yeah.
So you cannot hesitate. Once that ball's airborne, you head back to third base, then you take off.
Yeah, and that's for everybody, but even for him, he's got such good speed.
Absolutely.
Well, Justin Bour's the batter. He doubled his last time up. Andres Blanco is over toward the line a little bit more than where he was the last time Bour was up. Inside, 1-0.
And I'm going to go, break it down a little bit more, though. Line drives like that is when you have to go back. The one that's in between the infielders and the outfielders, that's where the runner has to come down the line a little bit and try to read it then. But a ball that's hit that hard, automatically back to third base and tag.
Ichiro draws the throw. Now, are you throwing through here?
No, absolutely not. I'm letting him, if he's trying to steal second base, go right ahead. Hernandez and Galvis, stay put.
Don't open up any holes.
No.
He's about to throw his 60th pitch with 2 outs here in the 3rd. That's what happens when you walk 3 guys. On the Toyota Major League Scoreboard, Michael Taylor. Has he hit some long home runs recently?
The one, Colorado? 493 feet?
Yeah. And then last night, too. Anyway, he's hit another one, 2-run shot. And the Nats lead the Brewers 2-0. And ball 4. So he's walked 4. Now, I think Harang thinks some of these pitches are pretty close. He doesn't generally show much emotion, but he stopped himself a couple times after he threw the ball. Pat Hoberg is the home plate umpire. The crew chief Ted Barrett. He'll be behind the plate tonight. He's over, or tomorrow. He's over at first. Angel Hernandez at second, and Will Little is at third. Center field. On the run is Francoeur. It's over his head and off the wall. 2 runs are in. Rounding third and being held there is Bohr. It's 2-0 Marlins on top. It's a double for Derek Dietrich. The old adage that walks will haunt certainly comes to light here. 3 walks in the inning, and now 2 runs have scored.
Pitch up in the zone, being very aggressive, hitting the right center. Luckily, that ball didn't go out of the ballpark. Nice job by Frenchie getting the ball in. But absolutely right, Tom. Walks will haunt you.
And Lenny Harris was not taking any chances tonight. He was not going to send Justin Bohr. Marcelo Ozuna fly to right his first time up. Just the second hit of the series for the Marlins with runners in scoring position. What are you seeing right now, Matt, from Harang? Is there anything that's standing out with why he's missing so much?
With Gordon, he was trying to be too fine with his fastball away. He was getting underneath everything. Suzuki was the same way. Kind of pushing the ball instead of getting on top and throwing it.
2-0 pitch to Ozuna. Popped him up. Well, he got helped out there. To the mound, Harang says he has it, but Blanco will come in and make the catch. And the side is retired. Well, the Phils are fortunate. Only 2 runs scored on the 2-run double by Derek Dietrich. So they trail at 2-0 as we go to the 4th. Andres Blanco will lead it off when we come back. that all your shipping messages get noticed. Perfect for any priority message, and WB Mason delivers the same day when you order by 11:30 a.m. Local service, personalized, 2-button. WB Mason. Well, Derek Dietrich, who's getting a chance to play in the outfield, the former second baseman. Dan Jennings said, I pulled him in my office about 10 days ago, and I told him how proud I was of him as he's making a transition to the outfield. Really, he's making the transition to being a utility guy because their outfield is pretty much set when everybody's healthy. You know, they'll have Yelich in center, in left field. They'll have Ozuna in center and Stanton in right. Blanco takes out on the outside corner. It's 0-1, but they want Dietrich to be able to spell Gordon at second and also play left field. And that's moving forward.
Well, it'll help him stay around the big leagues longer. More playing time. The more positions you can play, go at it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Andres today gave us the layout of what his offseason is going to be like. He's not going to play an entire year of winter ball in Venezuela.
Second half.
Yeah, he's going to join the team in November, toward the end of November. Season starts, I guess, the first week in October. Does that make sense? Over toward third, a foul ball. He said in past years he would play the whole season when he was still in the minor leagues. He said now, because his season would end in September in the minor leagues, then he'd have the whole month of September off, then could play. But now he's going to, since he's playing in the majors, season ends the first week in October. He'll take October off and most of November and then start playing. Softly to the left side, charging is Prado, and he gets Andres Blanco. 1 out. Odubel Herrera is coming up, and let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, one thing we know about Odubel Herrera is that the man can hit, and he has continued to do that pretty much all season long. He's hit in 21 of his last 22 games, 37 of his last 41. He's improved his batting average about 40 percentage points in that time, and he's the subject of our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. He is trying to become the first Phillies rookie to hit more than 300 in a season since Marlon Byrd did it back in 2003. He hit 303 that season. Only 3 Phillies rookies have ever done it. How about Dick Allen and Richie Ashburn are the other 2. So Odubel Herrera looking to become be part of very good company in terms of hitting, and he's doing it each and every game and doing it consistently, and it's been fun to watch, no doubt.
0-1 to Odubel. He spins that one back toward the middle. Gordon backhands, throws in time, according to Ted Barrett. Pretty close. That's a bang-bang play. I don't know if Odubel beat it or not. Pete McCannon says hold on to the home plate umpire. Larry Bowe will go to the phone, which he broke last night, and pick up the new handset.
Well, right there, deflects off the glove, slows down a little bit. D. Gordon. Oof.
I think he beat it. Well, from the naked eye, it looked like he beat it. That's really close.
Tell you what, now the problem is, I was going to say, are you going to have enough to try to have it overturned?
Yeah, that's one of those that, I mean, it looks like it could have gone either way. D. Gordon has really turned himself into an excellent defensive second baseman. One last look as we slow it down. Ball is not in the glove. It is in the glove. I probably think he's out by a hair. Jeff Francoeur went around, according to Ted Barrett. Well, Murph, I guess just to wrap up what you were saying, you know, he's had himself a wonderful rookie season. He's opened up a ton of eyes all around baseball. And to have a 13-game hitting streak, have that stopped, and then a couple days later start a new one, and it's at 8 games now. And that says an awful lot about how good a hitter you are.
Yeah, Tom, I asked Pete Mackanin today, I said, are you surprised at what he has been able to do? And he said, absolutely, we're surprised, pleasantly surprised, not only with his offense, because he came with the reputation of a guy that can hit. He's won batting titles at 2 different levels in the minor leagues, or in winter ball, I should say. But his outfield play as well, a position he's played very little his entire career. So pleasantly surprised is what Pete Mackanin said about Odubel Herrera.
I think, honestly, if you go out through the league and you look at the 3-hole hitters in a lot of teams, how many 3-hole hitters are hitting 293? Playing every day.
Yeah, he may not have the pop of a 3-hole hitter, but
he's a center fielder.
Yeah. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, 20+ doubles, 293.
14 stolen bases.
Yeah, I mean, and his stolen bases have dropped down because he snuck up on everyone early in the season. Now they're paying attention to him.
Foul tip, and Frank Poor is struck out. Phillies go down in order here in the 4th inning. 3rd strikeout for Nicolino. Aaron Harang try to go back to work. Trailing at 2-0 when we come back. Of the Philadelphia Phillies, and by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyattoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Beautiful Marlins Park, just a few miles away from downtown Miami, the former site of the Orange Bowl, legendary football facility. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be the bottom of the order: JT Realmuto, Adeiny Hechavarria, and Nicolino against Aaron Harang. 2-0 Marlins. Popped him up left side. Freddie Galvis. It's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PhillyPhotoDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Show that photo a little later on. Off the outside corner to Hechavarria. Galvis charges, sweeps in. Good play.
Unbelievable hands. Soft hands, you know, just. If I did that, I'd bobble it, kick it, boot it, hit me in the forehead.
You might trip on the edge of the grass.
Yeah, or blow a hand. Just the fact that he has such confidence in this play. He turns a routine ground ball where he has to hurry now into a short hop. I mean, there's some tremendous shortstop in the league. And Freddie Galvis has tremendous hands as well.
Yep. Well, he's made two very good plays tonight. That one to the left. Yes, it was Nicolino that was batting, but then one to the left. And that one there. Outside. Well, Harang needs this. He needs a quick inning with his pitch count piling up. Here comes the 1-1 pitch.
That's the same fastball there that he was throwing to Gordon and Ichiro and just missing a little bit.
Over the mound, Hernandez. Another good play. 4-3 on the putout. Marlins go down in order in the bottom of the 4th inning. For the Bucks, Phil's looking to get some offense rolling against that guy right there when we come back. Answer. Who holds the Marlins record, Matt, for most games played by a catcher in one season?
Well, Ivan Rodriguez, and I'm going to say 152 games.
152 is excessive in this category anyway. 138 back in 2003. How about that? He had himself a heck of a career. I still remember that game in the playoffs. I think it was the playoffs against the Giants where he held onto that ball on the tag at home plate.
Yep.
Nicolino still finishing up his warm-up tosses as we get set to begin the top of the 5th inning. Aaron Altair will lead it off for the Phillies. It'll be Altair, Darren Ruff, and Freddie Galvis. Phillies have managed just 2 hits. Both hits are doubles so far. Well, Altair did not play in last night's ball game. He flied out to deep right field in his first at-bat. I asked Pete Buchanan about what you talked about the at-bats that Altair had 2 nights ago, and he said, yeah, he said, I'm impressed with his presence. He said last year he was only up for a little bit, but he looked scared in his first go-around.
Nervous is a better word.
Or nervous.
Nervous is a better word. To me, he looks, his swing is very free. It's relaxed. He's sitting with confidence, and a good season in the minor leagues will do that to you. You know, you find him your swing, and we all know he's a very good defender. I think, to me, this looks very hitterish when he stands in that batter's box.
He's attacking, too. No balls and 2 strikes to him. You know, what will that mean for the rest of the year? Who knows, but he's going to play. He was off yesterday, but he's probably not going to be off tomorrow. Probably play on Monday against the Mets.
Well, and it's the more he's up here, the more confidence he's going to get.
That one is blooped down the right field line. Ichiro on the run, and he gets there. Slides. It's a fair ball, and he hung on. Ted Barrett went running out because he lost sight of Ichiro's glove. He wanted to make sure he hung on to it, and he did. Well, that is our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, it's a very nice play. Ichiro going a long way. Sliding, two-handed catch. Makes it look very easy for a young outfielder / older fella. That's your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
You know why he caught that ball with two hands?
Jamie Moyer.
He played all those years with Jamie Moyer, who still needs a haircut.
Altair needs to pull the ball next time, because that's twice he's been robbed.
Yep. Darren Ruff is up. Darren waves at the 0-1 pitch. It's 0-2. Darren flying to left field, short left his first time up.
Oh, take it. It's the greatest time to get hit by a pitch. 0-2. That's what they make ice for. That's what we always used to say. Wear it.
Tied him up, and there are 2 outs. 4th strikeout for Nicolino, who's pretty sharp tonight.
He has been pretty sharp. You know, the previous pitch was a cutter inside, and he comes back with a cutter for a strike. And ties him up.
Well, your description of the cutter early on has been right on with what we've seen, at least through the first 4+ innings of tonight's ballgame. Just a little movement, slight movement.
Well, and he had to do something because the hitters were hitting .322. Now, take it. Coming into today's game, they were 19 for 58, so he didn't face a lot of right-handers. But the more he throws it, and the more success he has, he's going to start feeling more comfortable and being able to throw it. I think the cutter is the best pitch in baseball. I really do. Makes you honest as a hitter, especially if it's a left-hander throwing it to left-handers. It's a natural, somewhat of a slider to a left-hander, so you can start outer third, like Herrera did his first at bat. Swing and miss.
There's a liner to left field for Freddie Galvis. Dietrich backhands it. Galvis will put the brakes on. He took a wide turn. It's a 2-out base hit. And Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Well, that's what you wanted to see Freddie do in his first at bat.
Yeah. I feel when you're facing a guy that's throwing 91, tops up maybe 92, and he's throwing cutters, is pick either one. Pick the cutter or pick the fastball. And I've noticed lately, like Cesar Hernandez is trying to hit every pitch that's thrown up there. Once again, do not get off your strength of what type of hitter you are. You know, Freddie hits the ball very well as a right-hander. If he hits the ball well inside, then wait until you get a fastball inside like he did. I almost made the comment yesterday with Dominic Brown was hitting, is that he swung at a fastball inside and fouled it off down the right field line, and then got a fastball away, and he fouled it over the Marlins dugout. And I'm like, see, you can't hit both. You need to pick either side of the plate. I wish I'd known all this when I was a player.
I was going to say, there must have been a lot rolling through your mind when you were out there. Carlos pops it up. Bohr says he has it. And Nicolino has another easy inning. He does allow a 2-out single, but works around that, and he also has the pitcher leading off in the top of the 6th inning. We'll move to the bottom of the 5th. Phillies trail it by 2. Citizens Bank's Champions in Action program recognizes nonprofit organizations that are making a difference in our communities. Congratulations to our latest champion, Philadelphia Academies. To learn more, visit citizensbank.com/community. At Citizens Bank, we want to help you bank better. So the next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. You think she's doing that because Ichiro's coming up? That's what we saw the other night. She might be watching MLB At Bat. At Bat is the #1 app for live baseball. I don't think she is, but she might be. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get to MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Drove 3 hours to see Chooch play. Isn't that nice?
Very.
To root for Chooch. Well, if you're going to root for anybody, he's a good guy to root for. D. Gordon takes low. He hasn't seen many strikes in his last 2 at-bats. His lead in the batting race is up to 7 points. He leads Bryce Harper by 7. Choking up on the bat. Center field. Odubel Herrera's got a long way to go to try to track this one down, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Oh, that's a fantastic play, and he just saved a triple, at least a triple. But what a jump and what a track to the ball.
Well, he does get an unbelievable jump. You can see he's playing pretty shallow. Takes a perfect line to where he needs to go. Takes a little peek how much room he has. Makes a very nice play, and Harang enjoys it as well.
Ichiro walked his last time up, I should say, and scored. He takes strike 1. Ichiro overall is at 264. That'll slice out of play. Bronco gives it a look.
Good location.
Really good pitch.
Just a little off.
Not going to argue with Ichiro. He's got a good eye. Cesar stepped to his right, and there are 2 outs.
Nice changeup. Throwing a fastball just off the plate. Comes back with probably his best changeup of the night.
Well, these have been 2 good innings for him to bounce back after the third, where he only allowed the 1 hit, but he walked 3. All with 1 out.
Washington just died at the very end.
Good thing, too, is the home plate umpire, Pat Hoborg, has bought into the location. In the dirt, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Prado is 0 for 1. He walked his first time up, lined out to center field.
Hitters are supposed to swing at that pitch. The only reason why they do not swing at it is because they get fooled so bad they couldn't swing. Or you've seen the ball very well. Or Harang's tipping and you know it's coming.
Freddie Galvis to his left. From shallow center field, throws out Prado. 7 in a row retired by Aaron Harang. So he gets some ground ball outs here in this 5th inning. Followed up those ground ball outs in the 4th. We'll head to the 6th with the Phillies down 2-0. Philly of the week is continuing to contribute for the Phils offense, whether he's in the lineup or coming off the bench. A season ago, Francoeur wasn't sure if his career would continue much longer. In 2015, he has delivered plenty of production at the plate. And August has been no different as Jeff continues to produce, batting well above 300 for the month. Frenchie brings offense. Frenchie brings smiles and energy to the Phillies dugout on a daily basis. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. 2-0 Miami's on top. We go to the top of the 6th inning. The game is, from an offensive standpoint, has caused fans to be distracted. They're on their phones, they're on their iPads, maybe they're talking to each other. As Harang takes strike one, it's 0-1. Harang struck out his first time up. D. Gordon at second base. And a quick out here at the top of the 6th. Well, you can see why the Blue Jays selected Nicolino with the second pick, their second pick in the 2010 draft. I don't know if they projected this, but what he's been able to do tonight, following his last outing against Milwaukee, where he allowed 2 earned runs in 6 2/3. He's got some good stuff.
He does. I mean, if you look at his numbers throughout the year, the cutter of the league was hitting 143, fastball 304, curveball 400, change 294. So it wasn't if he was fooling a whole lot of hitters. And tonight I haven't seen a whole lot of breaking balls. I've seen a ton of cutters, good location on fastball, and the occasional changeup.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was probably the worst changeup he's thrown all night.
Cesar is in the hole now, 1-2.
And that's what, from watching pitchers throw, he threw such a bad changeup, he followed it up with another changeup, back-to-back changeups.
Prado at third base. 2 outs. Goya Latino Family Celebration Night will be Friday, August 28th, when the Phillies take on the San Diego Padres. Take part in a special live auction inside the first base gate. Proceeds benefiting Concilio in their efforts to provide social services in the Philadelphia Latino community. Enjoy the foods, music, and dancing of this annual event. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. In fact, you've got the 4-game series against the Mets, the 3 against the Padres. Might be able to taste a Cuban sandwich.
Favorite sandwich? Second favorite.
That's your favorite?
Second.
What's your first? Peanut butter and jelly?
Come on. Where do we play? Philly?
Oh, cheesesteak.
Yes, sir.
Visiting clubhouse cheesesteak?
Tremendous.
Yeah. They do make a good cheesesteak.
Tremendous.
Frank Core walked onto the bus the other day with one. I said, "Where'd you get that?" He was visiting clubhouse. 2-0 to Andres Blanco. And it's 3-0. Three balls, 1 strike to Blanco. And ball 4. So he's aboard. First walk issued by Nicolino. And Odubel Herrera will be coming up. Mets lead the Rockies 3-0. Juan Lagares a double and an RBI. How about Cespedes' night last night? 3 home runs. He was a triple away from the cycle. 3 home runs, and he had a single, a double. He just needed a triple for the cycle. And he hit 3 home. He had opportunities to hit 4. He had more than one opportunity to hit 4 home runs.
What do you go, 5 for 5?
5 for 6.
5 for 6.
Yeah. Flight out to right field to Carlos Gonzalez.
In the 9th.
In the 9th inning. A double down the left field line that'll be out of play.
Well, I should have figured that out. 3 home runs, and he had a chance to hit for the cycle.
Yeah.
One home run to center, 2 to right.
He's what they call a rental player because he's probably not going to sign with the Mets after this year, but who knows? Araujo warming up in the pen. Well, he was. Rod Nichols just went over to him, and I think he told him to sit down. I guess that's the pitch you're talking about. At least against Herrera. Francoeur waits on deck, hoping for an opportunity to drive in some runs.
I hated facing the left-hander that threw a cutter.
Dietrich out in left field and puts it away. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left for the Phillies. It's been a quiet night for the Phils offensively because of this guy. Marlins have only picked up 2 hits, but they lead at 2-0. Local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. And by McDonald's. Double the love it at McDonald's with a double cheeseburger and small fry for just $2.50. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-0 Miami's on top. Look at South Beach as we roll into Marlins Park. And Aaron Harang is still out there. He'll face Justin Bour. Bour tonight is doubled. He's also walked. Only 2 hits this evening for the Miami Marlins.
Strike. Thank you.
A 1 pitch to Bour. Fouls it back 0-2. Hector Neris in the bullpen. So Araujo sits down and Neris gets up. Raising the eye level, Matt?
A little bit too high. Although I've played with some players that probably would have swung at that pitch. Randall Simon.
Swing and miss. Boy, that's a good pitch right there. One away. So he starts off the 6th by picking up a strikeout of 4. Derek Dietrich's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Today's photo comes from @BobPhilsRams, and he says, in honor of Chase, the one athlete I tell my kids to play like. Look at that picture. That is a great one. Tweet your strongest fan photo to #PhillyPhoto DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Dad and son heading into Citizens Bank Park.
Where are you at, Murph, by the way?
I am just adjacent to the Phillies dugout.
So you're sitting in your normal seat?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. Are those 2 guys still following you around with Phillies jerseys on? Your backdrop?
No, I shook them in left field.
Oh, you did?
Yes. They're very nice gentlemen.
You know, he's got a helmet on. You should have a helmet on.
Cat-like reflexes, Tom. You know that.
You should ask DJ, who's leaning on the rail, if he can get you a helmet, because if the security guard's wearing a helmet, you should wear a helmet.
I need to get one to match my light blue shirt.
Go to UCLA. They probably have them. 3 balls and no strikes. Here's DJ. Gentleman with the suit and tie on is about ready to give some water out to the umpires. Hey, DJ.
DJ's waving to you, yeah.
Swing and a miss, 3-2. Every once in a while, some of the younger guys from the Phillies clubhouse, like DJ, get a chance to come on the road trip. Tucker, the Phillies bat boy, is the bat boy here in Miami as well. He is on this road trip. On the run is Altair. Got a very good jump, but he made that look easy. 2 outs. There's Tucker.
Well, at least the Dodgers have a couple of hits tonight.
Oh, they do have a couple hits?
Yeah, and Jamie and Chase have both of them.
Where's Chase playing tonight? Is he playing second base?
Second base. Hitting 6th.
Last night he DH'd. He and Rollins both batted in the 9th inning. Rollins actually hit one to the warning track in the 9th inning. As Fiers walked away with a no-hitter for the Houston Astros. And then a little controversy surrounding that because somebody got a shot of his glove which looked like there was something in his glove, like pine tar or something. And he said, I don't know what it was. I think it's just the lighting. Yeah. Ozuna is hit with that foul ball.
Oh, just above the guard. See if, like the old veteran he is, if he throws another 2-seamer inside.
Swing and a miss. Got him with a breaking ball. Another good inning for Aaron Harang. 3 strikeouts in the game. Harang now has retired 10 straight. Time for the umpires to get some water. Somebody has to do it. Phil's looking for some offense with Jeff Francoeur when we get back. Well, it's time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Justin Nicolino has allowed just 3 base hits. He hasn't allowed a run, obviously. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Derek Dietrich's 2-run double off a changeup from Aaron Harang is the difference in this game, plus the walks that Harang issued early on. But he's retired 10 consecutive batters. So now as we go to the 7th, Jeff Francoeur will lead it off. Harang may be done. There was some bullpen action before, although he settled in nice enough. If his spot doesn't come up in the order, might as well let him keep going out there. Francoeur is grounded out to shortstop. He's also struck out. Phillies loaded their lineup with right-handers because of the lefty Nicolino, hoping that would give them an advantage. It hasn't been advantageous for them so far tonight, Matt.
No, it hasn't, and that's the reason why right there he's had very good control of his changeup. Not a big fan of stacking your lineup with righties or lefties, depending on who's pitching. The only reason why is because a pitcher can get locked in by throwing 2 pitches, either a good fastball or a good cutter or a good changeup or whatever. If he gets locked in there, he can make it a long night for right-handed hitters. At least if you're mixing up a lineup with left-handers in there, now all of a sudden he might not be throwing the changeup to left-handers. Maybe he might be throwing more curveballs. He's getting away from his game plan. That's why I like to see, a mixture at least. Because Herrera hit the ball hard to left field his last at bat.
Mm-hmm.
It changes their approach, the pitchers.
So he can settle into a pattern because there's so many right-handers. It doesn't matter that they're all different right-handers. One guy has power, one guy doesn't.
Right.
He can still settle in the same pattern.
Right. And let's just say, okay, now they're setting up as a way. So it's either going to be a changeup or 2-seamer.
Russell makes the diving stab. Ball was hit hard. 2 outs.
That's having a tough day hitting.
Yeah. First Ichiro and now Prado.
I just find that pitchers get into a rhythm, and when they get in a rhythm, it helps you. You got a real nice defensive play at third base like this by Prado. Change up low and away, he turns on it. It's 3 good at bats. Well, he could have caught it standing up, but still it was a good swing. That's the pitch right there. The fastball inside and the cutter. That now if you have a left-hander up, he's got to change his game plan a little bit. So I just, it's.
Well, it's a good point. I hadn't thought about it, but it's a good point.
Well, it's like Randy Johnson. Everyone thought when you face Randy Johnson, you need to put all right-handers in, yada, yada, yada. No, he could not throw to left-handers. So the Oakland A's, when I played there, we stacked our lineup with lefties. We had Giambi, myself, Grieve, Eric Chavez, and we hit them well.
One ball and 2 strikes to Darren Ruff. And he hits that one sharply foul. And it remains 1-2. Now, when we talk about that, it's not just Pete.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
it's a baseball-wide thing.
Exactly.
That a lot of times teams get into this routine with lefties that they won't put a lot of left-handers unless your everyday players, your foundation pieces are left-handed.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me that Jamie Moyer would not love to have 9 right-handers in the lineup, or 8 lefties, or 8 righties in the lineup. I mean, he'd be throwing that change up, and he'd be, adding, subtracting inside. It's just, and it could be for a right-handed hitter. But then again, it also depends on what type of left-handed hitters you have on the bench, if they can handle left-handed pitchers. I guess you should take into consideration we got 3 switch hitters today as well,
including one in the on-deck circle. You got Hernandez, Blanco, and Galvis. Just 85 pitches so far with 2 outs here in the 7th. Over to shortstop, Echeverria. Side is retired. Time to stretch here in South Florida. The Phils down by 2 against the Marlins. Philadelphia. For the fans, at least, get a chance to watch the Eagles play. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Aaron Harang begins the bottom of the 7th against the bottom of the order. JT Realmuto. Good pitch toward the outer edge, called a strike. He has struck out 3. Harang has. He's retired 10 straight. Boy, it's a shame he had that 3rd inning where he just lost his command. That'll be out of play. Oh. And it's 0-2. The ball bounced down to the first section of seats, and a gentleman went diving for it and knocked down 3 or 4 spectators as if they were bowling pins. Did he go? No, says Ted Barrett, and it's 1-2.
All for a baseball.
I don't even think he got it. Oh, they'll get another chance. Toward the hole, Galvis backhand circles and throws on the run, dug off by Darren Ruff. That was a great play all the way around. 6-3 on the putout. Not only Galvis, but also Ruff. That's not an easy pick by Darren Ruff.
No, it's not. Freddie comes up as strong as he can off balance, but it's that 6 or 7 footer that's out in front of the pitch, or that's out in front of the first baseman are the tough ones. You know, the ones that are a foot and a half in front of you, those ones are easier. But it's the one that has that big bounce coming up on you. The key is you keep your glove down and go up with the ball.
Excellent hand-eye coordination.
Oh, very good.
Echeverria is the batter. Swings at the first pitch out to center field. Plenty of room to roam out there for Odubel. Two outs. And Nicolino will bat. He's only thrown 86 pitches. They're not going to take him out. Two pitchers have thrown well tonight for Harang. It's just 1 inning where he did not play. He did not pitch well. He only allowed 1 hit in that 3rd, but he walked 3. I think we're both in agreement that the D. Gordon at bat is the one that knocked him out of sync. Blanco backs up a half a step. Low throw, dug out again by Darren Ruff. They just wanted to see if he can do it. Side is retired in order. 13 in a row retired by Aaron Harang as we go to the 8th inning here in South Florida. And choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Aaron Harang's night is probably done. His spot is due up third in this inning. But what a bounce back considering what he had done in his last 3 starts. He needed an outing like this, even though he's trailing at 2-0. I would think it's safe to say, Matt, he accomplished what you laid out as your keys tonight, right? His fastball was down, but also he established an off-speed pitch.
He did. I thought today he threw more changeups than he has lately. Didn't throw as many curveballs. He mixed in about 5 or 6 probably, but you know, it was more of his slider was a little harder than usual as well. He didn't throw a lot of cutters, but I thought today he had good command of his changeup, and minus the 3rd inning, had tremendous control of his fastball.
Yeah, the only problem is that he's gone up against this guy who has pitched very well. So Harang's hoping for a little offense from his teammates to maybe erase this 2-run deficit. Freddie Galvis singled his last time up. Singled in the 5th, grounded out in the 3rd. Pulled it back at the last moment. 1 ball, no strikes. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Astros lead the Dodgers 2-1. That game's in the top of the 6th inning. Jimmy Rollins has reached 500 doubles for his career. 1 of 5 hits for the Dodgers. One ball, 1 strike. Mike Dunn is the left-hander. Brian Morris is the right-hander. It's been a liberal strike zone, but it's been a consistent liberal strike zone. Kind of like last night with Will Little. The strike zone was good. Sweeney has pinch hit twice so far. He said that he was going to have between 20 and 25 people here tonight. You know, it being Saturday and everything. It's going to be a tough play for Prado. He's got it. Flips quickly. He made it look easy. 1 out for Carlos Ruiz. Carlos is 1 for 2. He doubled his first time up, and then he popped out to Bohr over at first base. Well, there is Sweeney.
It's a rare curveball right there. Haven't seen many of those today.
Out to left field, playable for Dietrich. He got it in on him again, and that's been a pattern tonight. And Sweeney will pinch hit for the 3rd straight day. Maikel Franco took some ground balls today. He continues to progress, and hopefully will be back in the Phillies lineup. Before that happens on the 29th of August, when the Phillies take on the Padres, it's the Phillies Fathead featuring Maikel Franco. Thanks to the folks at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 98. Tickets can be purchased for that game by going to Phillies.com. In the air to left center field. That ball's well hit. Going back on it is Dietrich. It is gone! A long first major league hit for Darnell Sweeney. Wow, what a blast! It's a 2-1 ball game. I mean, he absolutely crushed that ball up the staircase in left center, and look at his family go.
Oh, yeah.
Got to be the silent
treatment.
Right?
Absolutely. He'll play with it. That's all right. Have fun. Enjoy it.
It'd be great if he did a cartwheel right there or something.
Next time that happens, you got to make sure you take your helmet off first. Then they don't beat on your head as hard.
I mean, that was a blast. Made a winner out of George Michael of Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. George won $200 thanks to the McDonald home run jackpot.
First pitch, cutter down in the zone. Drops the barrel and hits it out where Murph was the other day.
Over to third, foul ball, 0-2. Well, at least it'll be easy to track down.
Good point.
Yeah, there may not have to be any negotiations to get that ball back. Oh, 2 pitch coming to Cesar. Fouls it back. Wow. To get your first major league hit is a thrill. To get your first major league hit and to make it a home run. It's like the cherry on top of a sundae right there. Down the right field line. Great catch. We're up about 20 minutes from here. Grew up a Marlins fan. His favorite Marlins player was Luis Castillo. I mean, he was a second baseman with the Dodgers. Maybe that's why. D. Gordon is a guy that he worked out with for the last several years in the offseason. I think he's trying to catch Sweeney's eye right now in the dugout. Ground ball toward the hole. Echeverria can't get it. The Phillies have another base runner with 2 outs.
I would think we'd have action now in the bullpen.
Yeah, well, both guys have been loosening up and then stopping from time to time. Here comes Dan Jennings, so he's going to make a pitching change here. He's got Blanco coming up, so it could be either the righty or the lefty.
Yeah, I think they called in for the right-hander, but the reason why you make a change here, 1, you give up a home run, 2, a base hit. You cannot allow him to get the loss after pitching a great game.
He pitched a wonderful ball game. Yeah, he's allowed 1 run on the home run by Sweeney. The base runner at first is his responsibility. A crowd of a little more than 22,000 giving him a nice reception as he heads to the dugout. Darnell Sweeney is looking for a reception when he comes back from hitting his first major league home run. And finally, a reaction. tonight for fans 14 and under when the Phillies wrap up their series against the San Diego Padres. Tickets can be purchased right now or anytime by going to Phillies.com. Well, the Phillies have the tying run aboard with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. D. Gordon finally got the eye of Darnell Sweeney, and D just said, I got the ball and you're going to have to pay me for the ball. That's basically what D was saying to Darnell Sweeney.
And he put a price on it for $5,000.
It's so funny. We've seen a lot of that going on around baseball where baseballs have been held hostage. Blanco bat left-handed against the righty Morris. By the way, for Darnell Sweeney, he becomes the 116th Major League Baseball player to hit a home run with his first Major League hit. I won $5,000 for the baseball. $5,000. No balls, 1 strike. .48th ball game for Morris. He's 4-3 with a 3.06 ERA. By the way, the other note too is that that's the 8th pinch hit home run. Mr. All-time pinch hit home runs leader for the Phillies.
Ooh.
Blanco lost his bat.
Herrera didn't even move.
Fortunately, Odubel Herrera was not standing in the on-deck circle.
Think it scared the fish?
I would think so. Down the left field line. That's going to be in for an extra base hit. Hernandez already around second base. He's going to wind up scoring. He's around third, heading for home. Andres Blanco, an RBI double, and we're tied up at 2. And Aaron Harang cannot lose this game. He could still win it, though.
Well, we've seen these at-bats lately from White. Just a very good at-bat. Ball's up in the zone, drives to the left field. I will question the pitch selection that they threw him, especially after the first pitch slider. And then threw him a changeup where he threw the bat away. But clutch hit, good timing.
So now Odubel Herrera, who's 0 for 3. He's got an 8-game hitting streak on the line. Phils have scored 2 here in the 8th inning. Odubel takes low and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Both of these starters have pitched well enough to win the game. Right now, only Harang can win the game. Chopper right side. Bohr picks it. And he flips to Morris covering, and that'll end the top of the 8th inning. 3-1 on the putout, but the Phillies tie it up. Darnell Sweeney, his first major league hit is a home run. He launches it to left center field. And then the RBI double by Andres Blanco. Watch this swing. Pretty sweet. First pitch swinging. He goes down and he gets it. And hits it a long way. Darnell Sweeney has helped the Phils tie this game up at 2. goalkeeper Brian Silvestri. Find out why he chose the MLS over promising college football career. Plus, Ray Gaddis is mic'd up. Watch State of the Union Sunday at 7:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So we begin the bottom of the 8th inning. D. Gordon faces Luis Garcia, and the first pitch inside, 1-0. Garcia pitched yesterday. He's 3-4. This is his 55th game of the season. Cesar, big hop. And a quick out. Marlins have not had a hit since the double by Dietrich in the third. Well, heck, they only had 2 hits in this entire game. In fact, the last Phillies starter to go at least 7 innings allowed 2 or fewer hits. And took the loss was Brett Myers in 08. Harang now can't take the loss, which is a good thing, the way he pitched. Ichiro takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Darnell Sweeney's first major league hit, a home run, traded for a guy whose first major league hit was a home run. That was Chase Utley. One ball, 2 strikes to Suzuki, and he fouls it.
It'll be interesting to talk to Aaron either tonight after the game or tomorrow to see what he did different in his delivery and his different thought process today.
Garcia flips to rough covering. 1-3 on the putout. 2 outs. Martin Prado's coming up. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by St. Joseph's University. And the Mets' Lucas Duda is headed to the DL with his bad back. It's been a problem that has kind of hampered him all month long. But Friday night, the back locked up on him. He said he had to leave the game. And Duda told reporters today he thinks it will only be for 15 days. He has 21 home runs this season for New York. And also a very special night in New York tonight, but this time in the Bronx, as Jorge Posada's number was retired by the New York Yankees, number 20. He also got his plaque in Monument Park, a 5-time All-Star for the Yanks, and a member of 5 World Series teams as well. A very emotional night for Posada as he spoke to the crowd at Yankee Stadium, saying it was literally one of the best nights of his life as he was recognized in the Bronx for his contributions to the Yankees. 17 seasons with the New York Yankees, a long time in pinstripes, guys. So a very nice night for him, and the Yanks won that game 6-2. So good night all the way around.
Murph, they're going to run out of numbers soon.
You know what? They really are. I would not be surprised if we see triple digits in the Bronx at some point. Now batting number 100.
Yeah. Well, we saw Aaron Judge wear 99 in spring training. He may wind up wearing 99 when he gets to the big leagues.
They're going to have to start putting exponents on the numbers.
Look close for Luis Garcia to Martin Prado.
Billy Martin had 104 or 105 guys in spring training, and they didn't see those type of pitches up and in.
Comes back with a slider.
Yeah,
that's textbooks right there.
You see the type of swing he took? He was trying to hit the Budweiser sign in left center. That's why it's so important to do that once in a while, because hitters do not like that done to them. Back on my plate, I couldn't have cared. Like, who cares? I mean, really. I mean, it's what it is. Back then, we respected the pitchers, saying, "Okay, this is part of your home plate. I'll respect that." Now it's like you take the inside, outside, up, down. The hitter thinks the whole plate's his.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Popped up behind home plate. The count remains 1-2. Just saw Mike Stanton. Stanton was hit last year by the guy who threw the no-hitter last night when he was with the Brewers. Outside, 2-2. Still out with the hamate bone injury. Phillies will have Francoeur, Altair, and Ruff in the top of the 9th inning. And now 3-2. Over toward third. That's a fair ball down the left field line. Prado's at second base. He'll stop there. So he's in scoring position with the go-ahead run. Double number 16 for Martin Prado. Well, he won that battle. When you do get one of those up and in, if you can then come back eventually and do that, you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, you do. And this is a fastball inside. Blanco, he's guarding the line. I mean, he dove that ball in his foul territory. Tells you how hard the ball is hit.
It was hit hard.
I take it was hooked a little bit around the bag, but you're right, Tom. As a hitter, when you do get buzzed, your first thing is, 1, hit one back at his cap, or 2, try to hit a home run.
For his double tonight, he's also walked. He struck out his last time up. They throw a first pitch breaking ball. Marlins are 2 for 17 right now with runners in scoring position in this series, and 1 for 4 tonight. Not advanced. Ruiz kept it close. He didn't want to take a chance and get thrown out of third base. Mets now lead the Rockies 11-3 after an 8-run third inning. Oh, they were out. What was it, 8-1 last night? They were up. Yep. Rockies tied it. Now they're going to put Bohr on. And Dietrich, who has an RBI, a 2-run double in tonight's game, will be the batter. 2 on. Stay tuned after the game. Marlon Anderson gives his insights plus a full breakdown of tonight's Phillies Marlins matchup. Only on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. Well, Pete Buchanan's going to go get Luis Garcia, bring in Elvis Araujo, lefty on lefty. Now we'll see what Dan Jennings does. Does Dietrich still bat? Cat and mouse game is underway here at Marlins Park. There's Blanco telling Freddie Galvis what happened on that double by Martin Prado. We've got a pitching change. We'll be back right after this. Phillies recipes is available right now at the Majestic Clubhouse store, Phillies.com, or by calling 877-GO-PHILS. It's $19.99, and the proceeds benefit Phillies Charities Incorporated. Casey McGee is going to pinch hit for the Marlins as the Phillies bring in the left-hander Elvis Araujo. Runners on first and second, 2 men down. Araujo 1-1. Righties hitting .212 against him. He hasn't necessarily been a situational guy. He's been going against righties and lefties. And he gets McGee to ground one to shortstop. 1 pitch, and the inning is over. A little light work for Elvis Araujo. So we've completed 8 innings. On to the 9th. Nothing solved. The Phillies 2 and the Marlins 2. Deliveries of the game, and for the Phillies, they just happened in the 8th inning.
Well, Darnell Sweeney, welcome to the big leagues. Pinch hitting hit his first major league home run, first major league knock, making the game 2-1, and then following a Hernandez single, Blanco comes up and hits the ball down the left field corner. Scores Hernandez from first base very easily. That's where we stand right now, 2-2, and those are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
He's become the 116th player in Major League Baseball to hit a home run as part of his first Major League hit. I don't know how many have done it as pinch hitters. That'd be interesting to find out. Cole Gillespie takes over in left field. A.J. Ramos takes over on the mound. He's the closer for the Marlins. This is usually where you go by the book. Bring the closer in a tie game if you're at home. Jeff Francoeur is 0 for 3. He's grounded out, struck out, and flied out. Breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Out toward left field. Gillespie ventures back. That one was just off the end of the bat by Francoeur, but he still hit it a long way. And 1 out here in the 9th. That'll bring Altair to the plate. 0 for 3. Hit the ball hard a few times tonight. Giles and Neris. By the way, the guy back in the studios waiting to do the post-game show is the last Philly to hit a home run. Pinch hit home run. for his
Mr.
first hit.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Really?
They got to get video of that and show it. 2 balls, 1 strike to Aaron Altair. 3-1. See if he can zero in on one right here against Ramos, who's been a good closer. They had a good closer at the start of the year, Steve Cishek, but he didn't get the job done the way he did last year. He's since been traded. In the air to left field. Going back on it is Gillespie. That one's going to go. It is gone! Into the Phillies bullpen. Aaron Altair with the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Zeroed in on a pitch. And he gives the Phils a 3-2 lead.
Well, Tom, I'm going to give you credit for calling that one because you said get an area for 3-1 pitch. He did not miss this one. No one was robbing him this time. Ichiro twice, third baseman Monsperado. There it is, 3-1 fastball down and in. Nice easy swing, barrel of the ball, finishes high. We talked about that very hitterish swing.
It's a long home run, too.
No doubt to the left.
Here's Darren Ruff with 1 out, fills up 3-2. For Altair, it's his 2nd home run here in the big leagues. And it's his 16th overall, 14 down in the minors. Darren Ruff down the left field line. That one's hooking toward the corner. It is off the top of the wall and out of the yard. Back-to-back home runs, Altair and Ruff. It's now a 4-2 ball game. Talk about a dormant offense for the first 7 innings. It's come to life with 3 home runs in the last 2 innings.
Ramos has given up 3 home runs in his last 2 appearances. Cody Asher home run there.
Yep.
Location, middle of the plate, down a little bit, right off the top of the wall for back-to-back home runs.
Well, it's not as exciting as the ball off the top of the foul pole.
They all count.
But they all count. Here's Freddie Galvis with the Phils up 4-2. Hector Neris sits down. Ken Giles heats up.
Yeah, what a turning of event in 2 innings.
First time the Phillies have had back-to-back home runs this year.
Well, we only had 90 coming into the game today.
That's true. 2-0 to Galvis. 3-0.
Green light, back to back to back.
For Darren, that's his 5th home run. You mentioned Altair, it's his 2nd one in the big leagues. And we all know the story of Darnell Sweeney. Ball 4. Galvis is aboard. Hernandez may have to pay a visit to his right-hander just to get somebody up in the bullpen. Mike Dunn starts to throw again in the pen for the Marlins. There he is. Ryan Howard's come out of the on-deck circle. He'll be the pinch hitter for Elvis Araujo. There goes Galvis. Pitches hit foul. And he puts the brakes on. Pretty good bender right there. It's 0-2. Outside, and 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies can hang on and win this one. This is a good win. They faced a tough pitcher. They faced a tough pitcher, but their pitchers did a heck of a job at one point, retiring 15 straight. Galvis goes, pitches hit softly to the right side. It's wide open. Galvis didn't know where it was, and then he was able to pick up his third base coach and head to third. So first and third with 1 man down. And Ryan Howard is going to be introduced as a pinch hitter. I think Jennings will then bring in Mike Dunn.
Well, this is a run and hit with 2 strikes. Chooch does a nice job going to right field. Freddie eventually looks over and realizes that he can go to third base, and now it's time for a pitching change.
So Jennings is out. So is Ramos. Mike Dunn will come on to face Ryan Howard. The Phillies have taken a 4-2 lead. just gave up 2 home runs. And the Phillies have taken the lead here in the top of the 9th inning, and they're not done. They have 2 runners on first and third. And they'll bring in the left-hander Mike Dunn, 55th game for Dunn. And he will face Ryan Howard, who will step up as a pinch hitter. It's been an up and down year for Mike Dunn. So Howard 5 for 23 lifetime against the Marlins left-hander. They have an overshift on. It's not drastic though. Runner goes from first, pitches a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. All right, now they'll play the infield in.
It's a nice stolen base for Chooch.
Well, that's it. I mean, now it gives the advantage to Howard.
But
why not throw?
It's first and third. Why wouldn't you hold Chooch on?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Why wouldn't you hold him on? Because if he's going to go, you're probably going to throw him out.
Right. Well, and money's not going to go. You're going to have first and third. Ryan does hit a lot of ground balls. A possible double play.
Yeah. Yeah, because now you're bringing the infield in. Now he still has to make contact,
Exactly.
but it's advantageous to Howard. And Howard strikes out. So 2 away. And here's Cesar, who singled his last at bat. He's 1 for 4.
They figure a base hit will score 1 for sure, possibly 2. Ozuna has a cannon in center field, and Ichiro still has a strong arm on right field. Left field, little below average.
Ozuna's pretty deep at center too.
Yeah.
2-0 pitch to Cesar, and it's 3-0. Yeah, Blanco in the on-deck circle. He has 2 doubles tonight, 14 on the year. Hitting close to 400 against left-handed pitchers. We shouldn't have given Murph that horn. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Outside, ball 4, and that'll load the bases up. And here comes Andres Blanco, who is 2 for 3 in today's game. Chopper toward the hole. Echeverria has it. And he flips to second in time, and the Phillies are retired here in the 9th inning. However, for the first time since July of 2014, the Phillies have gone back-to-back. Aaron Altair gives them the lead. He hits this one off the scoreboard in left field, and then Darren Ruff follows off the fence. Back-to-back home runs, 4-2 Phils. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Well, Elvis Araujo threw one pitch to get out of the 8th inning. He stands to be the winner if the Phillies can finish this one off in the bottom of the 9th. The last Phillies pitcher to throw one pitch and earn a win, Jeff Geary, back in 2006 against the Dodgers.
Jeff Geary. Fastball, curveball, change.
Yeah, not a big guy. His fastball had some life on it at times. Phillies traded him to the Astros. How'd you do against Jeff Geary?
Not too bad.
That's all you're giving me?
Yep. Because I'm seeing Ken Giles.
Ken Giles will face Marcell Ozuna to begin the bottom of the 9th. 1 ball and no strikes. Can't believe you're not boasting to the studio audience.
Can't believe he threw a first pitch slider.
'98. Giles trying to pick up the save for the Phils. Trailed to 2-0 for most of this ball game. Scored 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. And now we're in the bottom of the 9th. They lead it by 2. Took a couple miles off that one. A couple miles per hour off that one.
He backed off it through 96.
Ken Giles told Larry Anderson today that the clothes he wears, he thinks are fly.
Or what?
Fly.
Fly.
Yeah.
Is it a fishing thing?
No, it's a cool thing.
Oh.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Fly.
Isn't that what he said, Murph? He called him Fly?
Yes, he did. he harkened back to his harkened back to the early 1990s, I think.
He must have watched the Back to the Future marathon last night.
And of course, Ken was probably 5 years old in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Larry's been sending Jim Salisbury pictures all over the ballpark tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ozuna. Check swing, foul ball. It remains 2-2. Gillespie.
Ken Giles hasn't pitched since Wednesday. Threw 7 pitches in. So he needs to get on there and get some work.
Ruiz tried to steal a high slider there. 3-2. That's what he's done over his last 11 games. He'd like to make it 12 effective outings. Broke his bat. Galvis in shallow center field says he has it. 1 away. And now Real Muto will be the batter. As far as the division goes, the Braves have lost. The Nationals have won. The Mets are leading the Rockies. Scores hold up. Mets will remain 5 up. Atlanta will drop to 13.5 games back. Marlins 16.5. Phillies 17.5. No balls, 2 strikes to Real Muto. Fastball upstairs. Swing and a miss. He got him. Nasty slider. He's exactly right. 2 away. And now Echeverria will come up. So how did you do against Jeff Geary?
I can't remember, to tell you the truth. A couple bunt singles.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. You should go find Jeff and see if he's playing in a softball league and see if he can join it.
I've talked to them since then.
Echeverria fouls it back. It's 0-1.
We didn't need to put that on the screen.
Nah, Jeff doesn't mind.
It's kind of bad when I can remember every at bat too. The home run off a fastball, home run off a curveball, and a home run off a changeup. All in Philly. When I was with the Blue Jays. Anywho.
0-1 to Echeverria. Down the right field line and foul. It's 0-2. So he's 1 strike away from taking back-to-back games against the Marlins. The 0-2 pitch. And it misses high. 1-2. Araujo in line to pick up the victory.
Think he can pitch tomorrow?
Elvis? Depends if he sleeps wrong on his arm. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Echeverria. And the pitch from Giles. Out towards shortstop. This should do it. Galvis is up with it. Throws to first in time. And the Phils have taken back-to-back ball games from the Miami Marlins. They come from behind and they win it tonight by a final score of 4-2. Ken Giles closes the door The door was actually kicked open by the long ball tonight. Darren Ruff, Darnell Sweeney, and Aaron Altair all homered, and they are our Chevrolet players of the game. It went in the order that you see on the screen. It's the first time since July of 2014 the Phillies had back-to-back home runs, and Elvis Araujo gets the win, throwing just one pitch to pick up the victory.
I believe the last time it was Marlon Byrd and Cody Ashley here in the ballpark.
Marlon Byrd and Cody Ashley. That is exactly right.